It's been no debate that the most recent Sonic games are just bad. Sonic Forces was a massive disappointment for an anniversary game. Team Sonic Racing, a game that needs to rely on an online community, only had one for about a second. And Sonic Colors Ultimate was a broken mess of a highly regarded Sonic game. Yeah, it hasn't been that great in terms of the gaming side of Sonic the Hedgehog. It's been mostly flop after flop, with the exception of Sonic Mania, which seems to be the exception rather than the rule. But when you look outside from the gaming aspect of Sonic the Hedgehog, primarily the console stuff, things look a lot better for the Blue Blur. The IDW comics have been lauded as some of the best writing in the Sonic franchise in general. The Sonic movie produced by Paramount was a surprise hit to most people with a sequel on the way that everyone's looking forward to. The mobile games have become a bigger hit for Sega than the console games, making more money from whales and unsuspecting kids with mom's credit card, and has been a bigger focus for Sega seeing how they've shown off the mobile games during the Sonic Central stream. And merchandising galore everywhere, another thing that's been showcased during the Sonic Central stream, and also an upcoming Netflix show being produced by the team who made Ben 10 and Generator Rex. A lot of things to look forward to in regards to the multimedia stuff, and people have made the argument that Sonic should move more towards a multimedia focus. And hell, in some cases, forget about the console games, move more towards this focus. And I've always kind of felt off about that idea there. And that's what we're talking about today, the core identity of a franchise when you go out and switch the franchise drastically to something else, and my own take on how I feel about this multimedia approach. To begin with this topic of core identity, I just find it weird that there's a lot of people out there who really want to push for a multimedia focus for Sonic the Hedgehog. And the reason I say this is because something is going to change with Sonic the Hedgehog, essentially moving to a more multimedia focus. It's just going to happen when you shift from being a gaming franchise to something completely different. Well, I mean, Sonic's core identity has definitely changed throughout the years during the Adventure era, Dark Ages, and hell, the Meta era with all the memes and the such. And sometimes this is not a bad thing. Take Final Fantasy for example. Final Fantasy shifted from a turn-based style game to a more action-focused game, and those games are still great. Final Fantasy VII was a great game, and Final Fantasy XV was great as well. And another example is The Legend of Zelda shifting from a more linear adventure to an open-ended adventure with Breath of the Wild, and that has become the biggest Zelda game of all time. It's crazy how that game continues to sell in comparison to other Zelda games. But those are just gaming franchises shifting to something else within the gaming realm. The one thing that people are arguing about is moving Sonic to something completely different. In many cases, it comes off to me when people say they want Sonic to move to a more multimedia focus as if they want Sega to go out and abandon the games just because they're not doing too well. And that kind of just feels kind of disingenuous to me, primarily because Sonic to me has always been a gaming franchise, and for the most part, most people recognize Sonic as a gaming icon. And I know there's people out there who grew up with the Archie comics, the cartoons that have come out over the years for Sonic the Hedgehog, and other forms of media, including nowadays where people have been introduced to Sonic via the movie. But ultimately, the games are the things that should matter for Sonic the Hedgehog, and I think for most people, including myself, most people have grown up with the games first, as I've grown up with Sonic Adventure 2. So it kind of feels off to say that, yeah, we should stop focusing on the main thing that Sonic was, just because it's not doing that well. And as a quick example as a franchise that kind of abandoned what their core identity was Star Wars. And yes, I'm taking this from Jaden XP, I know, but me and Jaden are cool. We've been friends for quite a while. So, before Disney went on and bought Star Wars was primarily a movie franchise. Some of the best movies you can ever see. But then when Disney went on and bought Lucasfilm and produced this pile of filth right here, Disney needed to change focus because the movies were not doing that hot. So they shifted the Star Wars franchise to be more of a streaming show that streams on Disney+. The Mandalorian was a big success, along with Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7. The Bad Batch I've heard was pretty good. Star Wars Visions I thought was really great. And Boba Fett I heard was okay. Star Wars has found a newfound success within the TV shows that stream on Disney+. But you want to know one thing about me? I've only really watched 2 of the streaming shows on there, being The Mandalorian, only Season 1, and Star Wars Visions. And the main reason I've chosen not to watch any of the other stuff was because the movie spurred me so bad that even if the TV shows were good, I didn't want to go watch them because I was just burnt so much by the movies. Well, there are other reasons to why I've stopped watching Star Wars all too much, but those are very unrelated and goes off topic. And that kind of applies to Sonic if the next Sonic game ends up not being good. If the next Sonic game is not good, then I really have no interest in investing into the multimedia stuff outside of a few things here and there. The IDW comics I can care less, I don't even care about going out and buying American comics. The merchandise stuff is nothing to me. I can care less about buying that stuff right there. There's only really a few Sonic collectibles I went out and bought. And the upcoming Sonic Prime show, I can care less about, mostly because it's on Netflix. I can care less about renewing my Netflix subscription. And the only thing I can really care about in terms of this multimedia stuff is the movies. The first movie was great, and the second movie looks to be a great watch as well. If Sonic were to move on to this whole multimedia approach, this probably would be the time I would actually not care about Sonic anymore. There was that time when Sonic Forces came out and I didn't really think about Sonic for a while, but this might be even longer for me if Sonic just went strictly multimedia and stopped focusing on the games. And the main reason why I think this way is because I care about the games first. I don't care about anything else from the Archie comics or the IDW comics or the TV shows. They're nice extras, and that's about it. They're extras, not the main course. One final point before I go on and end this video. Ultimately, I think the main reason why most people push for this multimedia narrative and such is quite simply because there hasn't been that many releases before the Sonic Central stream, nor have the games been good. So, my first point. When you think about it, after the release of Forces, there hasn't really been that many games that came out. There was really just Mania Plus and Team Sonic Racing. And there was literally a whole year where there was no Sonic games. And literally there have been YouTubers out there who went out and said that Sonic was in a drought. And that was really when I saw people go out their way and say Sonic is a multimedia franchise to make it sound like Sonic was not in a drought. Which, of course, if you've been hearing my video this whole time, you already know I feel that's disingenuous to say that, oh, Sonic's not in a drought because look at all this multimedia stuff. When Sonic has always been a gaming franchise and has been confirmed recently by Sega that this franchise is a gaming franchise. And they told this to their investors. And in terms of the bad games, it kind of goes full circle when I first introduced this video. The Sonic games have recently been bad. At the end of the day, these are just my opinions. Whether or not you want to agree or disagree with my opinions, that's perfectly fine. You don't need to agree with everything I say, nor do I intend you to agree with my opinions. But besides that, comment down below, because I like to hear what you have to say about this whole multimedia stuff. And also make sure you give this video a like. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.